Hey, this is Eric, the 5-Minute Pastor. Today we get into Joshua chapter 6, and it forces us to think about the way that we try to achieve victory in our lives. As we move into chapter 6, what's happening is Joshua is now about to take the fortified city of Jericho. And this is going to be quite an accomplishment because it's not like he's leading this huge army. He's really leading this ragtag group of Israelites through the desert, across the Jordan River, and now to conquer the city of Jericho. And what happens is fascinating. God encounters Joshua and says to him, look, see, I've already given the victory to you. Which Joshua must boggle his mind as he sits there and thinks about it. What do you mean you've already given me the victory? We haven't even done anything. And then when God speaks to him, what he says is, here's what I want you to do. I want you to march around the city one time today, and while you're doing that, blow some trumpets. And then while you're at it, why don't you do that again tomorrow? And then the next day and the next day. Do that for 6 days. And on the 7th day, I want you to march around the city 7 times blowing trumpets, and then on the 7th time blow one loud blast and shout, and then the walls will fall down and you guys will have victory. It must have been a very strange thing for Joshua. But I suppose it's no stranger when you think about it than what we're faced with in victory in Christ. I mean, really, Jesus has already won. The battle is over. Victory has been given to us, and God says to us that he wants us to do things like love our enemies, or forgive our enemies, or humble ourselves, or give up things, be sacrificial. And when you think about it, these are very strange ways to achieve victory, but I guess it doesn't really matter if victory's already been achieved. You see, as we go through life and we fight these battles, I wonder, are we fighting in ways that really aren't the way God fights? As we head into the boardroom and we think, oh man, I can't humble myself today. I got to puff myself up. I got to be all impressive. Are we saying to God, I've got this? I don't really want to do it your way. Or when our enemy does strike us on the cheek and we're ready to fight back, to punch back, are we saying to God, I've got this. I know how to fight the fight. It's interesting to think about. See, God doesn't fight his battles the way that we want him to or expect him to. And when we fight our battles our way, again, we're not really fighting on God's side. You see, Jesus has already won the victory. And he asks us to do some crazy things. Love our neighbors. Treat others with respect. Demonstrate a humility in all things. So as you go through life today, think about, how are you fighting your battles? Are you doing it the way that God would want you to? Or are you doing it the way that you think you ought to? Because so often the world's ways aren't God's ways.